My name is Jason Knapp. I live at 1826 County Road 60. I'm speaking on behalf of the RFPLC, of which I'm president. I want to thank you for extending the comment period. However, you need to extend it a lot more than a few weeks. We need at least 3 months, maybe even more. So please keep that in mind when you're dealing with it. If you look at the volume of paperwork, which you have to go through, or we have to go through, 3 months is a minimum. Thank you. About 1.5 miles north and a little bit east of the Chemung County landfill sits Shoemaker Mountain at about 1,700 feet in elevation. It's a broad ridge with numerous false peaks, all about the same elevation. It is also one of the highest points in Chemung County. There are no houses up there, just pristine forest land. Rainwater falls on Shoemaker Mountain, percolates into the ground, and begins its flowing downhill to the Chemung River. About 1.5 miles due south as the crow flies from Shoemaker Mountain is the Chemung River at an elevation of about 800 feet. The river will drop another 5 to 8 feet before it leaves the county in Waverly. Between the uplands on Shoemaker Mountain and the Chemung River sits the Chemung County landfill. The landfill is made up early of unlined cells with clay liners, early plastic and fabric liners, and more modern DEC-approved liners today. In the early days, the landfill, homes, businesses, and industry put anything they wanted to in the unregulated landfill, including batteries, toxic material, and waste they could not dispose of anyplace else. Those cells will fail. The unlined ones probably first, the newer ones soon after that, and eventually the more modern ones. Remember, the Titanic was not supposed to sink, and the liners are not supposed to fail, but they all will. Add to that 470,000 tons a year of new material, mostly or majority of drill cuttings and drilling waste on top of those already fragile cells is bound to speed up the process. I am concerned about the heavy metals and organic compounds that are in the goo deep down in the landfill now. I am even more concerned about the drill cuttings and fracking fluids from the Marcellus Shale in Pennsylvania that has been put in the landfill in the last 4 years. The Marcellus Shale is noted for its high levels of radiation, levels higher than background radiation. These radioactive drill cuttings and drilling brine, which is used in the drilling process, and which concentrates the radioactivity to a higher level even in the drill cuttings, have already been added to the landfill to the tune of several 100,000 tons. There have been no studies, either long-term or short, on the effects of this radiation and on the environment, on landfill workers, on people living in the vicinity, and on the land and of the landfill and of contaminated water. Casella was allowed to put the material into the landfill by a simple email from the DEC, which, until more studies are done and questions answered, Pennsylvania Marcellus waste should not be allowed in the landfill. If it is as harmless as all the proponents say it is, why is it not put in Pennsylvania landfills? The gradient from Shoemaker Mountain down to the southern edge of the landfill is quite steep, 900 feet vertically and just over a mile horizontally. The water that collects on the mountain begins flowing downhill through extensive gravel deposits left behind by the Continental Glacier over 50,000 years ago. Groundwater loves gravel. It flows easily through the spaces between the sand grains and the stones. Remember, the landfill was once a gravel pit. Once water begins flowing down the gradient, nothing will stop it. It will flow around, under, and through the landfill. On its way, it will pick up any pollutants it encounters and carry them along with it. Once this groundwater and all the stuff that it's carrying from the landfill gets to the flat agricultural land at the bottom of the hill, it has less than 1/2 mile to go before it reaches the river. And the going is even easier because that gravel has been modified by the river over the last 10,000 or few thousand years, and it's easier to penetrate than it is up on the hill. This once pristine water, now laced with all sorts of toxic things, flows to the river at or below the surface and begins its journey southward. When the millions of people who depend on the Susquehanna River for their drinking water find out that their water has been polluted by the Chemung County landfill, there will be a huge outcry and demand for a cleanup. Unfortunately, at that point, the cleanup will be so massive and so expensive that Chemung County will not have the ability, nor will it have the capital, to be able to clean it up, and probably the state won't either.
You have 1 minute.
Lost my place. So Chemung County, and especially Casella, are going to make a pile of money burying Marcellus waste and other people's garbage, while the taxpayers of the county will have to struggle to pay for this insane action. What a legacy to leave to our children and grandchildren. The time to stop this is now. Is this short-term financial gain for the county worth the long-term negative impacts on its citizens and the environment? I think not. Thank you.